Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to Alien Addict on this kind of unplanned, scheduled video. It was just like, what should I talk about? What is there to talk about in 2021? Let's talk about the disclosure. Let's talk about the disclosure. And I couldn't do it without my good friend, my buddy, my pal, my ginger bearded warrior, Lee from Musty Audio. Lee, thank you for the support, my friend.
How you doing?
We both, you're rocking a bit of grey in that beard.
Oh yeah, it's the what you call them? What's the little like black and white critters? Badger. The badger is coming on.
Badger look. I get it here. You see there, like it kind of looks like it doesn't grow.
Yeah,
but it does. It's just grey.
Yeah, I'm destined to be grey. My dad's like white, fully white.
Yeah, I've never understood the kind of like, when somebody's got grey hair and they don't embrace it. I kind of like
embrace it all. Embrace grey, embrace baldness.
Yeah, if I went, it's the fact that it's half of it. But anyway, why did you get me started on beard? Oh no, it was me, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was you. It was your fault. It all started so well. I enjoyed the energy. I enjoyed the welcome to Alien Addict. Like I enjoyed
people
the little dance.
In the chat. Welcome to Alien Addict. I would probably try and read. Should we read some names, Lee?
Yeah, let's do it.
Have you got them?
I have in the chat.
Before we start the disclosure, because we're having a slow burner tonight. So I've already just put it out, and it's got like nine people in the chat. People in the chat, if you have social media, me and Lee are about to reveal disclosure to you tonight. So make sure you share this out because it's going to be a wild one.
We're getting in before Cobell.
We are, yeah. Somebody needs to. So we have Dakez Trell. It sounds like a Star Trek name.
Fucking Klingon.
Klingon, yeah. I love. Well, do you know that's a proper language?
Yes,
somebody's written the entire language.
I think all the Star Trek ones are, aren't they?
Are they?
Well, I think so.
I know Game of Thrones, Dothraki. That is a language.
Is it? Oh.
But yeah, we've got.
I mean, is there any need? If we're honest.
We've got Shawnee 002, which is before 007. So that is a better agent.
Yeah.
Though 006, Sean Bean, didn't rate him. Brandy Phillips. I had a dog called Brandy. He's dead now. We have James Clark in the chat. Muted Matrix. I can't believe I'm reading these right. I'm quite happy with myself. And Rene Cruz. If you don't know who Ren is, Lee, we're going to get onto your change of the channel in a moment, but Ren is kind of like, she knows everything about ufology. She's on every single UFO channel. You see her there. She is the best supporter a UFO channel. Ren, we love you. I'm going to get t-shirts with Ren Cruz written on them. I can't pronounce that. Is it a silent K? Nexit? Connexit? Nexic? Nah. Yep. Welcome to the show, my friend. Gerald Greenwood. How you doing, mate? We have Alien Addict. That's me just responding to Fast and the Furious. Earl 13. Vicky was here 22 hours ago.
Yeah,
what is she still here now?
To do.
She may not be here now. She might have been waiting and then she just forgot or fell asleep.
She fell asleep. I did a live stream once for a Formula One thing, and we had some guests come in from the Discord to talk to us, and it was obviously very late. in whatever part of America he was in, and halfway through, like for want of better words, like meet and greet, if you want, for listeners, all you could hear was some guy in the back and go, and we couldn't mute him, but he just fell asleep. And through the whole meet and greet, we had a listener snoring his way through it.
Do you know, that's my biggest fear, you know, after having one too many cans, falling asleep on a show. That's why I only go for about an hour and a half, just in case. But yeah, before we get on to the Alien, so Musty Audio is seeing a few little tweaks. I'm going to be doing more YouTube stuff, hopefully more like comedy based. I've got 2.5 hours of footage to edit, which I've got a funny feeling I'm going to fail to do, and then pass it along to somebody that's better at it than I am. But yeah, for the YouTube channel, I want to do some more fun stuff. I've got another idea that I have pitched forward to the person I'm going to do it with. But yeah, that's the thing. That's the idea, is have some more video stuff on YouTube. But you're still going to be very much in the field of ufology on this channel.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love coming on here and doing this. It's great.
I love it when you come on me. Yeah, come on the channel.
I like this because I feel like I've done this in the same way I've done everything else in my life. I've kind of snuck in the back way and ridden on the hard work of others to get myself in.
Speaking about hard work, mate, you've been hard at it. So you're getting ready for disclosure by the looks of what's going on behind you.
Yeah, stuff's going down, isn't it? Corbell told me.
Did you make your own bed?
I made my own bed. The fridge over there, I fashioned out of the bones of my neighbors. I made my own computers in case the power goes out. They run on like gerbil power, just running around in the back of them. So
without pissing off the audience, because they're probably going to know when they're going to get on with it, or are they just going to rant? We are just going to rant for an hour and a half. Yes, it does. So you pointed it out to me, but I'd already watched it. So, and I'm actually a big fan. So Russell Brand is now talking about the things that are up in our skies.
Yeah.
Recently, I watched a video yourself. Oh, it's how convenient! He's got a triangle on his chest.
That's far too much chest for a man to be showing off. Well, he's got a t-shirt on, though, isn't it?
No, he can rock that. You know, he's got that style about him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He can just. For anybody who's not watched the video, I should have linked it in the description. I'm a big fan of Russell Brand. I have been since he did all his comedic stuff back in the days on I think it was Channel 4.
Yeah. I've seen the man do stand-up live.
And also he rocks the number 33 on his wrist, which is my number. I did actual video on it. I did like a 15-minute video about how this number haunts me. I've not linked it, but if you want to go find it on the channel, you can.
I think I watched that before we were friends. That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
It was, yes, it was. I still do see the number to this day. But yeah, Russell Brand, he kind of gave his impression of, well, you've got to really listen to him in depth and, you know, not be too inebriated to listen to him, because he always goes all over the place, a bit like me. Actually, I quite like that, but he's extremely intelligent. You can tell that man's got a high IQ, and he kind of like at the end of the video, the way he said it made me think that, you know, if something does happen, guys, just kind of keep your wits about you. That's what it kind of felt like to me. I don't know about you, Lee. The way he was explaining, because it was almost like he kind of thinks something is in the works.
Well, I remember watching a interview years ago with Russell Brand when he had a it was like an evening talk show, a bit like Jonathan Ross, but it was never quite as big. You know, it was always a bit later at night, like 11 o'clock at night, something like that. And he had, I mean, you don't get panels of guests like this anymore. He had Noel Gallagher and David Icke on at the same time.
Oh, that's a good.
It's beautiful, isn't it? So anyway, they started going into like proper Icke territory, and Noel Gallagher took the hump, and he just got up. He said, "I'm not listening to this bollocks anymore. I'm going to the pub," and walked off.
Watch this episode.
Yeah, but Russell Brand actually turned around to him and said, "Look, I know you've got some out there theories." He said, but to be, I think because there was something he wanted to touch on, but he actually turned around. He said, to be perfectly honest, some of your more out there theories, I'm actually on board with. And then he brushed over that comment and went to something else which they were talking about. But you see, if there's any truth to any of the sort of stuff we like to talk about, you know, it's Russell Brand's been in the absolute heart of it, hasn't he? You know, you talk about a man that was married to Katy Perry, who is like if you see like any top 10 like Illuminati things, there you go. Katy Perry's in there somewhere with some sort of like triangle slapped to her face, or or like
she could be in the Illuminati. I would still marry her. I would still marry her. I would go to sleep with one eye open, but I would. But yeah, well, no, I'm married, so I wouldn't still marry her.
I mean, so it's okay. So you can just move. It's in some countries, it's fine.
But yeah, he's kind of like, I know what you're saying. He's kind of, I always say kind of, but he's kind of always been in this thing.
Yeah,
I don't really want to say it, but you know, I don't want to. You know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's like
says the man that we're going to talk about alien disclosure for the next hour and a half.
Yeah, because it's something to do.
Yeah.
But if something is going to happen this year, you know, and a load of celebrities are the ones to reveal it to us.
That's the way it's going to be done, because nobody trusts politicians anymore. This was something, I don't know whether we're going to get ahead of ourselves here or not, but we're kind of here. The more this drifts on, is the more I'm starting to distrust like disclosure, what's going on around us. I'm there's something, I think there's something going to happen, like either, and don't get me wrong, when I say something's going to happen, I don't mean like it's going to actually be a like an event or something like that. It could be something as simple as the government lying about knowing something or doing something just to control the narrative. Yeah, and I don't even mean like the like some sort of fake alien invasion or anything like that, which you get people talk about. Let's be perfectly honest here. We've all been involved in a year and a half invasion of the mind. You know, there doesn't need to be anything like physical.
Well, this is kind of what he said. He said that it may be another. I mean, that's what I got from it. It may be another way of control. I mean, without getting into anything that's gone off in the recent year or so.
Mm-hmm.
I think if anything does happen this year, people have got to kind of think, you know, a lot's happened, you know, you know that old saying, whatever next, you know, what's going to happen next? Aliens in your backyard, and that's what's going to happen.
I think that's the thing. Like, if you'd have told me 2 years ago what was going to go on over the past like 18, 20 months, I'd have laughed. You laughed at, or if I'd have turned around, it would have been, especially around my circle of friends. It would have been very much like, oh, look at Lee again, crazy Lee and his crazy ideas.
It's like, I feel like right now this is the closest that we've actually been to it ever, though. I think this is the closest it's going to get, and I personally think something's going to die off next in the next 3 years again, and then we'll see another uplift again in the year 2033.
Yeah. Yesterday, the triangle pyramid, is it Boca, is it not, UFO was in.
Yeah, well, that was in his thumbnail, wasn't it? The Corbell one, the one that he got off George Knapp.
Yeah.
Yep. So what you're saying yesterday with
this, like the story, the Corbell story, yesterday I saw on, because I went sniffing around, especially to see where was reporting it, and America wise I found it on NBC, CNN, and Fox. Then UK wise, nothing television side I didn't see, but newspaper wise it was the Daily Mirror, Sun, Daily Mail, The Express, The Star, if that's actually a newspaper. The Telegraph had something in it. You know, like you're hitting, like the Times. I think the Times might have had something. You know, you were hitting all of the major like news publications.
Are you still on board with Mick West's debunk though? With this,
I don't know. See, there's two reasons. There's two reasons I'm well on the fence by it. First of all, I think it makes total sense. I think what he produced looks identical to the Corbell footage. So in that respect, I'm on board with Mick West. But on the other side of it, there's so many people still using that footage.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that. I mean, Mick West can't be the only debunk expert that's out there. I mean, people used to say that I was a good debunker, but I was never really a good debunker. I was just showing the obvious stuff, you know.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
Mick West is like, he attacks it like a legit scientist, doesn't he? Yeah.
And he gets his knickers in a twist sometimes as well when, you know, someone's trying to argue against him. I do like him if you watch him.
He comes across as a really good guy. Yeah. And I think he's actually, I know he does get himself in a twist now and again, but one thing I would say about him is I think he's got a tremendous amount of patience, because it's so difficult communicating with people on social media. And like he throws something up and he spends ages in comments. You know, I've spoke to him back and forth before. I think we both have, about stuff he's put up. And I think he handles himself very well under immense amounts of like backlash sometimes. But I don't know. But the whole fact that his that piece of footage is being used makes me worry about it even more somehow. Like the
thank you, Reek and Havoc, for the super sticker. Sorry to cut you off there, Lee, but I now know what a super sticker is, because I didn't realize until I saw it on somebody else's show where it popped up, super sticker, and it's a little image, and he's doing this. But on StreamYard, we don't get to see it, but I'm running the show on my Mac at the same time. So thank you, Reek and Havoc, for the support, my friend. So super stickers. Yes, I now know what that is. I should have already known what that was. But yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, this just whenever all these news outlets get on the back of something and have the same like party line, I worry about it. Again, obviously being YouTube, we've got to skirt around these things quite carefully. But I think using their terms is okay. So like the term, like we kept hearing the term "build back better" through this, and it's everywhere, every country, every leader saying it. That's at that point it becomes a marketing term. So it's
also the Great Reset. I see that everywhere as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's the people turn around and say, "Oh, well, that's a conspiracy theory," and you say, "Well, no, it's on like the website for the World Economic Forum, and they on their sort of Great Reset. This is what the world's going to be like paper that they put out. The paper was originally called "You Will Own Nothing, and You Will Be Happier." That was the title of the paper. And then as soon as everyone went, "Oh, I don't know, because I already own stuff, and if in the future I'll own nothing, that means I don't have my stuff anymore." And then they've since changed the title of that article. The article's still the same, but they've changed the title of it. It's very strange. We're living in very, very, very strange times.
Do you think we are going to see something this year quite significant from this bill? Was it June 6th?
Yeah.
I think I said this last time. I still can't remember. I should do my research more often, but...
Well, I think we'll see... I think we'll get disclosure of some...
You think we will?
Yeah. I think we'll get a public acknowledgement from someone about what even if it's just an acknowledgement of the lights, and then there'll be you'll probably find, actually, I bet there'll be a new person that comes like to the floor through this. There'll be like 2 years ago, maybe, if I'm sorry, I'm from the UK, I might be talking out of turn here, but I feel that 3 years ago, no one would have known who the fuck Fauci was, but he's been very much the forerunner of this situation in America, where he's a household name right around the world. I feel you'll get another person that'll come out. There'll be like maybe the Alessandro. Maybe this is what he's being primed for. But there'll be somebody.
Well, it's weird that he got to, he kind of like he just got up and left TTSA.
Yeah.
Both him and the Melon. I think the Melon's working for Virgin now.
See, if it wasn't for what's happened in the last 48 hours, I'd have said that it would happen on Rogan, to be honest. But
what Joe Rogan reveals disclosure,
or the interview is done on his show. That because of how big a global platform it is, probably the biggest global platform for, if you look at it, it's just pure numbers of people that watch.
But the thing is, who would you have to interview in order for people to believe, that this is actually?
It doesn't matter who you interview, as long as you have something which is cast iron evidence given up by the that's rubber stamped by the US government. And I mean that even for the UK. For some reason, I feel that the US is in such a position in the West that it has to come through the US. We've almost been conditioned through like films and television programs to always look at the US as the sort of guiding light in these situations.
Yep.
And I think that's where that's where even as Brits we would take it more from any president of the US. Like, we won't get into the weeds about who would be the better president to do it, but Yeah, sorry, I'm just laughing at Martin R's comment. No photos, a real rubber stamped alien. But, but yeah, I feel it has to come from there. And a high definition. See, I think this is what's going to happen is I think things will flip where for good and bad, for like me, for instance, I don't particularly trust what's going on at the minute. So I'm going to treat whatever comes forward with immense skepticism. But I think you're also going to get people that, like, you think of the YouTube guys out there, not yourself, because I think you treat this sort of stuff very honestly. But there'll be guys out there that all of a sudden you're unemployed because it's the mystery's solved. Do you know what I mean? The like Oz has fell from behind the back of the massive head, you know, and we realize it's just an old man that's there and he's not a god looking after the kingdom. So I think you'll find is those people have to flip, and those people will become the skeptics, and the mainstream view will become the believers.
Say we do get a disclosure, and it's hard hitting, and it is a full world event where everybody kind of like is on board with it. They see it. Whatever they reveal is so hard to deny, or so hard for anybody to debunk, or so hard for anybody to just say this is nonsense. Even me. How do you think this will impact religion? Say there is kind of like there is aliens. They show actual interviews with them, trying to translate this, that, and the other. They show all sorts, and it's just undeniable. I'm not going to get into what it is. I'm not going to paint the picture for you, Lee, but just imagine that you believe it. You believe that this is 100% disclosure, whatever they pull out of the bag. Mm-hmm. How would this affect religion?
Well, it depends what way they're put forward. I mean, they could be they could be gods anyway. So if that's the case, if they come down and they're all Jesus looking motherfuckers, then you know the Christians were right. But I don't. It feels
okay. Let me go a step further. Let me go a step further. They say that they created us. Well, you know, the whole Prometheus thing.
Well, in that case, they become gods. You know, it's. I mean, maybe not, because what you'd have is if I think churches would come out and essentially hit us with the fact that the Bible was never a literal work, and it's at that point religion's proven, really. You know, it might be proven by nuts and bolts.
See, I think no matter what happened there, you would see a backlash with that, because people that. Why would anybody want to worship not somebody who just created us? There is just, you know, they did us from DNA or whatever. You know, that they saw a planet. They thought, let's seed this little blue thing here. See what happens. Let's watch them for a bit.
I mean, realistically, isn't that kind of what we're supposed to believe God did anyway?
But when you think of God and people that go to church or they go to wherever they go, whatever religion you are, you believe you believe you go in there because when you pass, you know, you're going to go somewhere else, or whatever you do good in life is going to be rewarded. Now, if you think that you're just DNA, and if this gets revealed that you are just DNA, I'm just speaking hypothetically speaking here, you know, I think that, and that's always been like for me thinking, how would religion take? I mean, I know my grandma, I don't know how she would take this. She'd probably think they were all devils. You know,
I mean, if I believe that there's something floating around. I don't really believe that the spaceships come from different planets. I think there would have had to be a concerted effort in the first place to cover that up before there was even crashes. Do you know what I mean? Would have been tracking things on radar and stuff like that. You know, you had Foo Fighters back in the Second World War, all that sort of stuff. There's been things written all the way through history of you know, the Indians depicted battles in the sky and things like that.
Thank you, Chelsea Richardson, by the way.
I've always been of the opinion that I think these things are extra dimensional and just are always around us. So in that case, I mean, even like if you say demons, for instance, I don't think there's any reason, if you believe that we live in like a multi-dimensional space, I don't think there's any reason to believe that there isn't or couldn't be some sort of hellscape like there that these things are coming through. So could be. But in what we're talking about as far as the footage that's being put out for the narrative that's being spun at the time it's being spun, I can't help think that it's bollocks. It's bollocks, and it's New World Order bollocks, as in all the steps that have happened over the last 2 years. You go blah 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 blah, and then just at the end, you have an event. Because I think what would happen is, especially if you had like a Prometheus type thing, it's not the fact you're destroying religion, you're creating a new one. You're creating the one world religion that all the conspiracy theorists have been warning about for years and years and years and years.
So you think some of the conspiracy theories could be right?
Well, I mean, it seems to be, you know, it feels like we're living in a conspiracy theory. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It feels like we're living in an episode.
Yes. Sometimes I think, you know what, I'm going to wake up.
Yeah, it feels like we're living in an episode of like Jesse Ventura or something like that. It's see my other theory about, I say fucking theory, no, I haven't got theories, I've got thoughts, and even they're fragmented. But everything seems to have gone fucking crazy since the since the popularity grew of social media. And at first I just thought that was like the kind of ripping apart of society, and is we're not the 100 people, isn't it? I don't know, I think we spoke about this on the show before. The human brain has the capacity to manage 100 people at once. It's why centurions, you know, it's like century, they looked after 100 people. And we are like on a daily basis interacting, or at least getting the information off, maybe liking and sharing and stuff, with sometimes if you don't have work that day and you're particularly bored and you're on social media a lot, you're interacting with thousands of people. I don't think we're built for that.
No.
But more than the fragmentation of like what we would think of as culture, I can't help wonder whether the Ike idea of universal consciousness is a thing, where if you get enough people to believe something, I've had this thing for a long time. Oddly enough, it was football. I don't even like football, is why I started thinking about it, was the fact that you can kind of tell when something's going to happen in sport. Say, you know, when you've got so much energy focused on a thing, in the same as for some reason, when you get to finals, it always turns out to be interesting. You know, something dramatic happens in those sort of sporting moments. And I've always wondered whether that's just because there's so many people's energy being focused at this one thing. So let's say that you there now have a Facebook and a Twitter type thing and a YouTube, which focuses massive amounts of people's attention on something. And then you've got algorithms which help funnel that attention in various ways. If we are part of a global consciousness, doesn't that then make sense that if you channeled your algorithm right to get enough people to focus on the one thing, you could make that reality?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I also have I think I've had this theory for ever since I first joined Facebook. My wife set me up an account. I said I don't want to. Why would I want to be on that? And still to this day, I don't use it. It's literally, it was there for a few pictures for me. I got some like great pictures that people send me from holidays or whatever, and people I met for years. But I just said to myself, they said, this is going to get out of control, and this is going to be. I personally think that that's kind of the natural. It going crazy and people, all the conspiracies, this, that, and the other through social media. I think that's the natural route for it, because our brains, like you said, they just can't seem to cope with it. So you'll see. I mean, if you remember back in 2012, we were meant to be hit by Nibiru was going to collide with Earth, yeah. And there
I was so in on that. I was so in with the 10th planet.
My best mate was. I think I don't. But he cried on me. He cried.
I was genuinely worried, like genuinely worried, because of, and you know, especially at the time, because now things make more and more sense when you look at what algorithms had done, and a bit of me wonders whether that was some sort of no, I don't want to say test, but like an experiment. Because there was so many Second Sun videos.
Yeah, YouTube everywhere, right? And whatever else was putting it out there, mainly only watch YouTube anyway. But you know, they say that. I mean, now they say that they kind of get rid of stuff like that to protect us. When people are actually talking kind of scientific stuff, and they still kind of get rid of it anyway to protect us. But all the Nibiru stuff was fine. My mate, literally in my kitchen, fair enough, he'd had like 3/4 of a bottle of red wine. He was crying on my shoulder, you know, saying that, you know, his kids are too young to die. He's too young to die, and we're all going to die. I'm like, mate, we're not going to die.
He must be having a rough time now.
People are just doing this to make money on YouTube. I was showing him the views, and I said, "Do you know?" And I just kind of brought this random Nibiru video up. I said, "Do you know how much money this person will have made off this video?" And I think I looked it up, and it was like something like ridiculous, like $5,000.
Yeah, 20 back in like 2010 as well. I mean, you're talking peak YouTube time as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, it's anything goes, Wild West. There wasn't everybody in the world didn't have a green screen behind them in an underground bunker.
Unfortunately, I had not peaked back then. I still haven't peaked now. So, guys, hit the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and put it out on social media. And yeah, just do it. Just do it, as Knight would say. Yeah, the thing is with social media is that somebody could think something up, and it could be any conspiracy. And I know the 2012 thing wasn't that meant to be predicted from the Mayans, and maybe something did happen that we just didn't know about it.
The Mayan calendar thing as well. Even after that, I was confused. I was confused how we came to the conclusion that when that calendar ended, everything ended, because it was round. And now thinking in hindsight, when you get all the way around your calendar and it's round, it starts again.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if it was from the. I don't know if it was from the Inca. I think it was the Inca ruins recently. I should have had an image of it. They found a giant spider holding a knife. A giant pardon my French, but giant fucking spider holding a knife, Lee.
I mean, I hate spiders.
But a giant one holding a knife. That means it's a giant spider with 8 legs, yeah,
Yeah.
and 2 arms with 5 fingers on it.
I
Holding
mean,
a knife.
no. What that does make me happy about is I did come in to possession of a sword today.
I've got a sword as well in the garage. Yeah,
Mm.
and I keep thinking, is there ever going to be a zombie apocalypse?
I thought exactly the same thing. I thought, should probably just take this. Should probably just take this, maybe sharpen it.
Keep the sword.
Keep the sword.
Yeah, keep the sword.
We're not allowed guns, but we can have swords.
No, but we can have swords. So, you do think there is going to be a...
I think there has to be, because people. I remember I was only thinking this after we did our last show. I remember Rich turning around and saying, we've had this sort of thing before. Where
it's Mr. Goof on.
Yeah, where there's been like things come up and then nothing comes of it. I agreed at the time, and then the more I thought about it later, I thought, yeah, we've had stuff before. We've never had this.
Yeah.
Never had we've never had like mainstream media. The only thing I can remember where there's been so much mainstream media coverage of this was the alien autopsy, and even then
the original one that was that you got a VCR tape on.
Even then, it got a week, didn't it? It didn't even get that much time, really.
People are probably. I get this out a lot. I need to get it out again.
The pages are stuck together now.
Yeah.
I
got it in where is it? This was what got me into the. Well, my dad got.
It was about 95.
1995. Oh, yeah. Yes, 1995. Look at the creases on that. Yes, the pages are stuck together, but this
Butter Boy.
This has got all sorts in it. This has got.
Yeah.
I think it had a VCR tape attached to it. I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I know I had it on. I had the tape because I showed my dad it, and I was like, "Look, Dad!" I said, "It's an alien. This is what they operated on at Area 51." And he's like, "It's fake."
I was 13 when that came out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 40 now, so what? I'd have been 15 years old.
Yeah. But that's I remember that being on like the front page of newspapers and stuff, and they put it out in dribs and drabs, didn't they? Little bits of footage here, and you'd see the alien, but the leg was blurred out because it's a bit gory to be on television.
Well, you know what my dad said? He said, "Well, how come it's not on BBC News? So how come I don't know what the best American news channel is, but how come it's not on BBC News?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Well, I don't know, Dad, but look at the way it's being filmed.
Can't be on BBC.
It's old video."
Yeah,
but I mean, I do see the fact that it's been debunked now, but I'm still a bit itchy on that debunk.
I'm still not convinced that that's not real. I know I'm going to sound like a fucking idiot saying that.
It's fine.
But the only reason that ever really got put to bed was because the creator came out and said it was
fake,
or the owner, I should say. What's his name? DeSanto? Was it some DeSanto?
I can't remember his name, but even to this day,
Robert DeSanto comes to mind. I wonder if that's him.
I've had this argument with Goof on Rich a few times where we'll just be having a little bit of a jest, and he'll be like, "It looks fake. It looks like a shop dummy," and I'm like, "No, Rich, it doesn't look like a shop.
I don't think it looks like a shop dummy. It looks
like a dead body." So me and Rich disagree on that one, but
there's certain little things in that where, see, I can't help but think, I mean, that's supposed to be a butcher that made that. And they use pork. They use pork from the guy's butchers to make it. I I just don't. I don't buy that he like that guy who would have made that dummy. He did such a good job, and then disappeared. It was always the greasy-looking guy with the glasses, the guy that came in contact with the footage. He was the one that was pushed out there.
Here's the thing: you want to make money on a lie, okay, and then you want to come out a year or so later. You film a documentary as you're doing it. You film the making of it. Where's the making of it? Where's the really
Absolutely.
good? Where's the real? Yeah, where's the good footage?
And your man was a filmmaker.
Yeah. So you'd film that. You would film the making of it.
There's another thing. Even if you're not doing it as a documentary, right? Even if you don't think that far, which I don't. Now you've said that, I don't believe you wouldn't think that. Filmmakers film fucking everything.
Yeah.
Like my guitarist is a filmmaker from a band. A friend of mine, she does a bit of filmmaking as well. She films stuff all the time. Like, yeah, you wouldn't not do it.
Can you imagine if that what comes out at the end of June? Do you remember that videotape from 1995?
It's real, yeah,
it's real. You know,
yeah. It's just they show the uncut version where the film just pans to the left and there's another alive one on the globe. Go, Dave.
I mean, without hankering too much on that tape, it was filmed a bit weird. You know, I would back then, if you got an alien, you'd have thought, let's get one of the good cameras in. You know, they could film better than that back then.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what year would it have been? Because I think it was always insinuated it was the Roswell crash, wasn't it?
Didn't somebody say that the phone, or it was the phone, something didn't match or the clock didn't match the timeline? Yeah. That's what somebody said.
I don't know.
Probably Mick West.
Probably Mick West. Yeah, I don't. You see, if you're doing the autopsy, there was so many people around. It's as far as the filming, it doesn't it doesn't worry me that, because what you probably had was a person thrown in there, probably the first person, which was like not useful. So it probably would have been like a private or something like that was thrown in there with a camera. You're seeing this thing on the table which has got more fingers than it should do.
Do you know what, Lee? We'll do a show on this. We'll do a show on this because we could be stuck on this for ages. So we'll get a few people in and we'll do an entire show on the footage. But you know something really weird?
In the public domain now?
You're not allowed to show the footage on YouTube.
Are you not?
No, because it's classed as what's the word?
Sexy?
No, not sexy. Brutality. When you chop somebody's limbs off, what's it called? And it's gory, but it's called human
mutilation.
Brutality. Mutilation. There you go. Don't know why I can't say
that's odd, isn't it? If it's not a real creature. Sorry about me moving around here. I do a lot of moving around.
No, it's fine. It's a bit colder, that cellar.
Yeah, it is a little bit. That's the only problem about the underground bunker. I forgot to build it underground. It's just
box
outside.
Moved. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
that's where I keep my live food.
You've got background written on your actual.
On the floor. Yeah,
floor.
That's to throw people off. That's to throw people off to make them think it's not real. Yeah.
But for me,
I look like Joseph Fritzl.
For me, with this disclosure thing, I kind of just feel like they're gonna say the stuff that you've already seen, the images that you've already seen of the Tic Tac, this, that, the other. Maybe they'll throw some more FLIR footage or whatever into the pipeline.
I think you get a high definition for either high definition
Tic Tac.
Or no, triangle.
Okay, I'm going to say, how much detail can you get on a Tic Tac?
Exactly.
It's a big shiny
yeah.
Tic Tac.
But there'll be, I think you'll get something with something to show some scale as well. Something big.
There's a thing with the TR3B that I've always had a problem with, though, because you remember the big thing with the stealth bomber, where that was a big cover of, and everybody thought, what the hell is this weird plane that we're seeing?
Yeah.
Also, the one that looked like that weird degree rule or whatever they call them, that had the wings.
Oh yeah. It was like it was like
I've forgotten the name of
the
that.
evolution of the flying wing.
Yeah,
there was a plane.
Yeah, the flying wing.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. These were all classified aircraft, and maybe the TR3B is the one that's just been classified the longest.
Maybe. I mean, the only issue with that is they'd have to try and explain why they've been keeping like 0 point energy and zero gravity.
But have they? Because there's no footage of a TR3B that's really doing anything incredible.
Just the size.
The size of it. Yeah, if you're talking Phoenix
size and
lights.
Speed. Yeah, size and speed. There's no. I mean, if you want to talk about stuff we can do, like
there's no footage. There's no footage. There's no
actual. Well, this is my problem with all of it. And we touched on it last week, and the more I've been doing these shows as well, as the more I've thought about this sort of stuff, that we can't not address the fact that we haven't got any decent daytime footage.
I think they mostly come out at night, mostly.
But remember, we used to have these like the people turn around and say, I was just stood there, I was walking my dog, we were in the middle of the road, and then the next thing is a fucking football stadium came over our heads, and it's always football stadium sized. No one's seeing football stadiums anymore because someone would turn around and say, why didn't you take a picture of it, Simon?
Well, here's the thing. So it was thousands of people that witnessed the Phoenix lights, yeah? Thousands. And how many pictures have you got? How many videos have you got?
I think the more terrifying thing is that people are taking these videos all the time, and the internet is more intelligent than we think it is at scraping these things up and getting rid of them.
What was that thing that was it 4chan that put an image of
reptilian apparently?
Yeah, but the weird that sounds crazy, but why did it take it down for a day?
First time, I think. First time that 4chan's ever gone down. It went down, everything's disappeared. And I mean, let's be perfectly honest, the picture, you can find it dead easy now on Google.
Yeah, you can find it.
The yellowy looking scaly fella. Nobody's believing that's real.
Maybe that wasn't the original one that came up.
That's what I mean. I don't believe that was what people put up. That was put up on 4chan. Because the other thing to think is about 4chan is I'm not a great visitor of 4chan.
No, I don't know much about it, to be honest.
No, but I do know that it's lots of these things that leak out into the surface sort of conspiracy side of things, like you fucking Slender Man stories and stuff like that. They all bubble away on 4chan before something comes up. Like the letter. I know we can't say that letter, can we? That bubbled up from 4chan as well, and 8chan. So these guys are the ones that are kind of, they might not be creating the myths, but they might not be publishing the myths, but they're certainly putting them in the oven to let them bake for a little bit down there before they sort of, the smell drifts off up to the rest of us up the top. I don't believe that those sort of people would fall for something so stupid, something that looks like something out of Toy Story.
That's right, Ren. I did, but it went straight over Lee's head when I said that.
It did. It still has.
Please tell me you've seen Aliens.
Oh yeah.
I said
Sorry.
they mostly come out at night. What you said?
Yeah.
Why is there no day footage? And I said they mostly come out at night. Mostly.
Yeah. I wouldn't have got the reference if you hadn't
Massive
told me.
Alien fan.
Sorry. I love Alien. It's not.
I loved it until I
won't
found
go
out
to
it was going that Disney now has it.
Hmm?
That Disney now has Alien. You know.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's a weird one for them to have, isn't
It
it?
is. You just see a big red nose on the end of the alien.
Toy Story 5 is going to be wild.
But with the alien figures.
Yeah. But
So-
yeah,
There's a few people in the chat saying, why now? You know, why now? Why not now? You know,
because if you're looking at like, there's no like
careful.
nothing's-
be careful.
Yeah,
I know you. I know you.
No,
I know you too well by now. Be careful what you're going to say.
Nothing's. It's all right. I'm not going to talk about the sniffles. Nothing's happened. Nothing's happened that make I don't believe, like, as interesting as the Tic Tac is, or as entertaining as a Bob Lazar interview is, apart from maybe your captain, I forgot his name, pilot.
Oh, David Fravor.
Yeah, maybe that's got a little bit more meat to the bone. But I don't believe anything's happened which is going to strong arm the government into disclosure. You know, it's not like there was a mass daytime sight. You know, like a Phoenix Lights in the middle of like a major city in the middle of the afternoon, where loads of people got footage of it and cameras, and everyone's social media lit up with a massive big triangle over a city. So the only reason I think politicians do anything is if there's an actual advantage to do it, if there's a political advantage. That's why the main thing I worry about what's going on right now is that there's some sort of power grab. I don't even mean from like the shadowy hand, like the
claw.
Yeah, I think it's probably very much like Game of Thrones in that respect. Yeah, I think you can see it in the UK now. Yeah, there's clearly some people in the background there that fancy a slice of Johnson's job, isn't there? So he's, you know, people are stabbing each other in the back all over the place now. So the only reason that this happens is if there's a political advantage for the people that are doing it. I also, if there was something to put out that was genuine, like there, I don't see Trump not doing it first. I'm not.
Well, it's not going to now, is he?
No, but there was a little bit of me thought he'd throw a grenade on the way out the door, and that's like, I'm not a Trump hater. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure it was a great move. I think it caused more divide, and I don't think what's going on now is like fixing any of that divide. So I'm not some sort of fucking lunatic lefty, but regardless of what you think of him or how much you like him, that guy is an egotistical man. He's very self-focused, egotistical person, and that doesn't necessarily always have to be like a bad trait in someone. I think, like, I still like to hope that I like Elon Musk. I like to hope that he isn't like a crazy lunatic, although I do worry about starting to stick computers in people's brains. But as everybody should. But
he's looking at you, Lee. Be careful.
He is, isn't he? Look at him with a bulbous Marzi head. But yeah,
But I'm
can't.
surprised.
Trump would have said something if he knew. You know, if he knew something, and he could have been the disclosure president.
Well, he couldn't keep his, you know, he just couldn't keep his mouth shut, could he? So you would have thought, he would say something if he knew, but I kind of don't think he did know anything. I mean, there was that little bit where I can't remember who was interviewing him now, and he was talking about he hopes to God we never have to use what the US military have right now, because we've got something that, you know, which he almost made out like it would shock the world what they had. I can't remember what the interview was now. It was a young lady interviewing him, and they asked him about the UFOs, and he just started. He kind of reversed it onto the US military. But I think if anybody would know something, you know, Elon, he's in space, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the people who he's probably picking to go in space. I mean, he's just sent. Was it a few months ago? The first ones went up to the space station in those ridiculously looking futuristic suits, and that thing looks like an iPad inside. It's just an iPad everywhere. You know, it's insane. But at the end of the day, it's still just a rocket. You know, I think if anything, his interest in this should be massive. Because this guy, the people who work for him, if there's anything to this, that should get his interest. That's it. Stroke him softer. So I'll get rid of him. Yeah, for somebody like that, you know, that's something that should be extremely interesting for him. If there is technology that is on this earth that can do all these wild, luxurious maneuvers, you know, they can move.
Why are they wasting the money doing what they're doing with
exactly? I mean, Elon's always talking about, you know, saving the world, this, that, and the other. Like, you know, let's fuck off to Mars before we kill ourselves here, because that's what's going to happen.
I mean, is it?
I don't know. I don't know. You know, I do my bit. You know, I make sure that I recycle everything. I even, you know, when the beer cans that are in the plastic things, I chop them into little pieces so that none of the animals get them stuck into the neck and this, that, and the other. I do think that, you know, when you look at how much waste that we do and the stuff that we do pollute, yes, I definitely think it's causing some damage.
Yeah.
But I'm no scientist to how much damage it's causing.
Yeah. I mean, I still think that when you look at like electric vehicles and stuff like that, it's kind of some good spin somewhere. I mean, you're still turning kids blue. Is it lithium they mine that turn them blue? With no way of recycling the batteries that go into them. You know, most of electricity is coming from fucking coal plants that are charging your cars. It's a big companies that are the problem, and it's one of the reasons I get excited about people being told that they have to change their lives, they have to stop eating beef, they have to eat these fucking diabolical vegan sausages. It's kind of like everybody could do stuff, everyone could change, and I don't think it changes a thing if major companies don't change, and they don't want to change. They're not going to. And I don't believe that human beings as a mass culture are that psychopathic that we would continue to destroy the world for profit if we actually thought we were on the cusp. I think what's probably more likely, and I'm not coming at this from a like a fucking global warming denier or something like that. I simply don't know. What I do know is that the companies that are pushing the green side of it, they're pushing it because there is profit to be made by pushing a green line. It's like everything else.
But with greed, you know, when you talk, so I went to China about 3-4 years ago in my old job. I was there for a week, and they were talking about some of the companies there that they're kind of like shutting down because of the way for how much pollution that they are causing. But you know, if you're a company, you've got so much power, and I don't mean that as in actual the physical power that comes out of the company. I mean the company is that much power in the world, you know, and whoever's behind the steering wheel of that company, these people, you know, they have enough money to just do. They don't need the money. They could do what, you know, was it DuckTales where the guy jumped into the thing and swam in the money? You know, they could do that in a sea of it. They've got that much of it, and it's just it's insane to how. But it's almost like they collect the figure. They're not interested in the actual what it can buy them. It's they collect the figure. It's like YouTubers with the subscribers, you know. Subscribe, make sure you do subscribe and hit the bell, guys. And
smack that like button.
Thumbs up. But yeah, they like the number. You know, I think that's a lot of things. That's a lot of what it is with these big companies. Yes, it is to make a profit, but also they just like to see the figure. You know, once they've made it, they don't really have to worry about how much they're actually making. They just like the number. You know, I think the world is a very, very messed up place. And if ET is out there, then I think they would look at this planet and think, do you know what? They can't get along with people on the opposite side of them. They can't get along with people of different color. They can't get along with people of different beliefs. You know, whereas this planet that we live on, we are one. You know, I believe that extraterrestrials, if they have the power to come here and see us, I honestly believe that these beings will be classed as one. They won't be a country, a race, or whatever. They will be just one race, you know, and I reckon they will look after each other. You know, it's like the aliens from the Aliens film. You know, they all are kind of like a hive. They look after each other, and I think if you become that intelligent, you have that much intelligence, you probably will lose some individuality because.
Oh, you have one
just like Elon with the mind thing that he's talking about doing the Neuralink. You know, once we're all interlinked, that's kind of like that's the next level, isn't it, of evolution? Where we all start,
but I can't.
Which is dangerous.
But I can't help think at that point, you stop being human.
Well, yeah, you do. You lose it. You lose a finger. You lose your hair. You lose your manhood or your ladyhood.
Well, I mean, even before then, and I mean, like maybe our lifetime, certainly our children's lifetime, the way things are moving. I play drums. I played drums most of my life. It's really, really difficult. And it was really difficult to learn it. And I watch amazing people at it on YouTube and think, how on earth do you practice so much and become that good? And I don't consider myself a bad drummer, you know. But if you're if you're doing a Neo, like, oh, I know Kung Fu now, that's a huge piece of the human experience that's lost. That thing of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start doing this, and I'm going to get slowly better at it until I suck less and less every day, until I even get to a certain point where there might be people that are better at it than me, but I'm still good enough to a point where I'm proud of what I've done. It takes human achievement away. Takes language away, takes languages away from countries. Because what you would find is that I think you would find everyone would eventually everyone would gravitate towards a single language. If they didn't gravitate towards a single language, these things would be smart enough to just to translate on the fly anyway. So you would feel like everybody was speaking the same language. There's so many human aspects that would be destroyed, and in probably, like, it's the next smartphone, isn't it? When you look at what smartphones changed, and it was only a few iterations where 1 minute you were playing Snake, the next minute you had an iPhone with a glass
augmented reality,
and all of the information in human history at your fingertips.
The thing is with this, though, that we're talking about with this disclosure, to get us kind of back on track with it. But I mean, most people will get that when you talk about iPhones or whatever, Android phones or whatever you're using, as long as it's a smartphone, probably more than half the world will hear about disclosure on their phone. How bad is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the point where it becomes a perfect propaganda device. I mean, the other thing to think about this is, let's say disclosure isn't real. Let's say it's not. We're going to get some sort of really good, like, CGI fake of something that's going to get put out to us with the rubber stamp on it. It's like, this is real, lads. We don't know what it is, but it's time you knew the truth. That doesn't have to be evil. That could be an altruistic move where enough governments have got together and said, look, this is fucking crazy, and we need a reset. We need a great reset. And by doing that and faking what we all think we know anyway, we all think we know there's other things fly, well, at least everyone in this chat room and on the stream, we all think we know that there's something up there. You fake it, and then you, just like the moon landings did at the time, and it consolidates people together because humans know their place again on the planet. It doesn't have to be evil. It doesn't have to be like the first steps towards becoming some sort of like communist dictatorship.
Do you think if we do get a disclosure, and this has always been the thing that they've said, that humans will not be able to handle it, do you think we can handle it?
We couldn't handle not killing each other for the last roll of toilet paper.
That is very true.
You know, there's even a bit of me wonders, like, is this what?
Do you think you'll see carnage? Do you think you'd see carnage through
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you'll see everything. If it was to come out and say, look, we think we've got this picture of this alien body that was recovered in the crash. This was a recovered flying saucer that we don't exactly know how it works. This is a video and a picture of it flying around. Maybe they snatch one of us now and again and do things to us. They've been cutting cows up for years. I think you go through the whole thing. You have people would begin to worship them. People would riot. People would kill themselves. Every single outcome that you could possibly think would happen, and it would happen in vast numbers of people, I think.
Apart from all of us that are watching the channel right now, I think we'd be all kind of like cool with it. We'd be like, you know what, we'll just
I still
sit this
think,
one
I
out.
still
We'll see
think
what's going on.
Yeah, I think so. But I think that's kind of what we're doing here. I mean,
I think my advice to anybody, if something does come of this, whatever gets said,
like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. There's a Patreon page. You will hear about disclosure there first. You know, I'm going to do a 2021 disclosure T-shirt. My T-shirt link is below. But no, on a serious note, I think that my advice would be just to kind of, whatever happens, just watch, and watch real close.
Yeah.
And don't panic. Just sit back and watch. That's my advice. It's not great advice, but it's sound advice.
Yeah, I think it's.
I don't know. That's for you.
There's just something. There's something on the horizon. I don't think this comes of nothing. Even the like the censorship of certain things at the moment, it feels like your major platforms are kind of on a hold for a reason, and I don't just believe that was because of an election or something like that. I feel it was something bigger, you know. You never know. Like, a few weeks, we could be. I think this is what makes having the almost same conversation so interesting over and over again, is because.
Well, that's what I feel like. I feel like it's Groundhog Day on this channel sometimes, you know, because we do rehash it over and over again. But it's kind of like the build up to it and what goes through the human mind of what is actually going on. Because something is definitely going to happen, like you say, in June, whether it's just a couple of photographs, whether it's a little bit of information, whether it's something about metamaterials, you know, whether it's a massive big leak of video footage or whatever, something's going to happen. It's just kind of like, I personally don't think it's going to be anything massive. I really don't.
This is the other thing I've thought about as well, because all the focus seems to have shifted away, right? Remember back in the sort of 90s and early 2000s, I think there was that documentary, wasn't there, the Ships of Light and stuff like that, with your man, was he a Mexican guy? He took the orange pictures of those sort of plasma type UFOs.
I'm not sure what you mean.
I can't remember what his name was. They're quite famous. Like they're sort of tic tac shaped, like orange and yellow.
When was this? 19 what?
It was in the 90s, early 2000s, around that sort of late 90s, early 2000s. But I can't remember what the guy's name is that took these photographs. But you were,
somebody in the chat will know.
Someone in the chat will know. But we were all about like the beings of light and stuff like that then. Whereas I can't help but feel we're getting like, it's awfully arrogant to think that these things that are floating around, which we only really see as like lights anyway, it's awful arrogant to think that they're using just better versions of what we've got.
Yeah,
we've humanized them. This is what I was saying. I think that it was I'd have liked to have had a better conversation with Oswaldo about it, because I know he's very much on the technology side, where I'm not quite as sold on the technology. It just seems like a leap to think that they're flying around with just better nuts and bolts. In the same way as I think it's arrogant to think that they have like empathy or all the other little things. I think it's arrogant to humanize something that's so extraordinary. And it does seem, again, like the whole UAP and the calling them threats and stuff like that. You can't fight an ethereal object, but you could fight a nuts and bolts craft. And it feels like something's being built up to be something that humans could fight against.
Do you think that's going to be the narrative that these definitely are a threat? Is that where you're swaying towards? I mean, I know this is just.
I don't think we're getting. I don't think we're getting Greer's. I don't think we're getting Greer's Space Brothers.
No, because he's going to stop that before it happens. He's going to get the documentary out, and he's going to stop that. You need to warn me whenever you're going to bring up Stephen Greer. I need warning in advance. You know this. I need warning in advance so I can bring him up. My good doctor friend. But yeah, no, he's out of here. For me, it's gonna be information. That's all we're gonna get. And then I think we're going to be waiting another couple of years to see more develop from whatever they have. I don't think it's going to be anything too exciting, people. Well, no, it will be exciting. Sorry. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe because it's going to be so exciting. I'll be talking about it. But I honestly don't think it's going to be anything like absolutely hard hitting that it's going to blow the world away. I really don't.
I think it has to, because that's the way it's being positioned.
So you think it's got to blow the world away, but do you think it's going to?
I think it has to be everything or nothing. It has to.
You think it's going to? So the day hits. It's going to be on every major news channel, all the papers, everybody's iPhone, and
it's going to be a sheet of paper dribbles out, like
that's what I don't want, with
more blacked out lines. It's the only thing legible on it is the date,
little speckles of dots of black on it, and
just everything. No, like
being photocopied 20,000 times.
Yeah, like a porn video you got when you were 12 at school. 12. We grew up fast in the Isle of Man. But I think it has to be everything or nothing. I think it will. I think it will be. But if it is, we need to ask why it is. It's not like, because this is dribbled on for a long time now. But I still don't think it's. I don't think it's quite as like prevalent as people like to try and think it is. I still think your everyday masked singer watching family, they have no idea who Mick West is. They have no idea what the Tic Tac is.
I'll know it's a big deal when my mum starts asking me about it. That's when I'll know it. I'll know it's a big deal when my wife is aware of it. Because as much as I have this channel, my wife has no idea. She doesn't even watch my channel. She might just show one of her friends and go, "Oh yeah, my husband's he's a crazy alien interview guy."
I think the other one would be I haven't got a teenage kid. I'd be interested to know what kids think now. With the Fravor interview on Rogan, with the BuzzFeed doing articles, Vice doing articles. Because if it's, you almost don't need the adults. If the kids tell the adults what's what, which is generally what happens, grown-ups at a certain age, then they stop learning, and then they have to keep up with their children. So at that point, the kids will tell you what's going on. It's like, no, of course, Dad, you've not seen this. That's what's been happening to the cows.
I'll have my 5-year-old explaining to me how they actually fly.
Yeah. So if the kids are on board, the adults will get dragged along with it. That could be, if it is some sort of plan in place, that could be the way it's being looked at.
I think one thing will happen if it does blow up, and it is massive. The UFO channels will be made redundant, because you'll get like the Logan Pauls talking about it, this, that, and the other, and we will be we won't grow.
No, you'll get a few people that'll be able to just like get their claws into the rocket ship on its way off. The likes of like UFO Jesus and stuff like that, and who I'm sorry to say this on a YouTube channel, I have no fucking idea how any of you cunts take him seriously. Fuck me.
A few people say the same about me, but I don't want to be taken seriously.
Right, I thought he was a parody at first.
I asked him for an interview the other day. If he's watching this, he's not going to want to come on.
I thought he was a comic at first. I thought
with the hands.
Yeah, I thought this is real. Like the ginger guy that does all the woke stuff. He's really funny. I thought it was kind of the UFO version of him.
Well, is UFO Jesus, Goof on Radio, Rich gave him that name, and he went with it. So he was taking the mick out of him ages ago and saying he looks a bit like Jesus, because in the gown and the beard.
Odd guy. Because I started watching his videos when he first sort of popped up. When he first, because at first he did it in a full like Jesus type getup, didn't he? He's since dropped that for a jumper, but he's still weird as fuck. But I don't get it. I see even down there, is it Shawnee 002? UFO Jesus is very knowledgeable at the top. I don't think he is. I think he says things that he thinks people will think are profound. And you can see, I can imagine him getting dead giddy sometimes when he puts a tweet out. It's like, what if we're the aliens and like cows are the ones that are fingering us? And I don't.
I think he's to be fair on Jesus. I do think he's, he definitely looks into the subject.
Oh yeah, of course he does. I'm not saying he's not interested. So
maybe
I
think he's on like a different spectrum to I am when it comes to the level.
I think he's on the fucking spectrum.
No, I wasn't going to say that, but I think he's definitely on like a different wavelength when it comes to his kind of research into UFOs and my non-research into UFOs, because there's so many people that will email me and they'll send me documents on UFO findings, and I'm like, this is not the kind of channel that I am. I'm not the UFO. For a start, I'm dyslexic, and you give me a full document to read, I've got a headache halfway through it.
You give me a YouTube link, motherfucker.
give me a link with an exciting guy waving his arms about, and I'm there. But I think there's a lot of his videos that I have watched and over the years, and I've actually taken some knowledge from it that is factual knowledge that is given out. But then there's stuff that he said, and I thought, he kind of like you're pulling at straws there,
Yeah, House full of straws.
I mean, I wonder how he felt. And I haven't watched him for quite a long time, just because of time mainly. Not gonna. I haven't gone off you, Jesus, or anything. I still worship you. But he's. I wonder how he feels with the TTSA, because he was massively into TTSA.
I think anyone. I mean, TTSA really excited me at first, but
You need to move your head up to the side of it. So you got the. That's it. That's it. TTSA head. Yeah. No, he was constantly. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually got 25% of their backers when it comes to actually supporting the company, because he was doing an amazing job for him.
But I find it weird how prevalent he is. Like, given, see, I don't want this to sound nasty, because I know I make jokes for sometimes. I try and be funny, but I never mean to offend somebody. But he's ridiculous. It's one of those things where I've only realized it like most so since I did an interview on my channel with someone that was quite controversial, and then I realized, oh fuck, it's all well and good, and I consider myself like a free speech advocate type person, and it's all well and good talking about that, but there is certain times where, because someone goes like 3 or 4 steps too far one way, and you go, all right, well, you've just made it more difficult for the rest of us to talk about it. Now, you get someone like Elizondo, for instance. I know we're still unsure about Elizondo, or even Greer, to be perfectly honest, who will sit there, they'll put sentences together, they can... Greer. Yeah, there you go. There, he looks like me again. He'll put his case forward, and it's one of those ones where you look at it, you go, I'm not sure I'm buying what you're selling, but you come across as a reasonable person. I think UFO Jesus makes the subject seem more ridiculous than it should be.
The weird thing with UFO Jesus for me, though, is there's not much gain in it for him, because he's not constant on YouTube. He's not. His videos come out. Sometimes he'll put a video a month. So I don't think he's in it for the money.
No. I mean, don't forget, likes and comments and social status can be much more valuable than money.
That's true. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
He's a very I didn't expect to end up talking about this guy today.
You brought him up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think it's a fetish.
I find him patronizing. I think that's the thing. He's one of those people that you never see him talk to. Oddly enough, being a Jesus, you never see.
Did you see him on Nick West?
He preaches. No, I didn't see him on Nick West.
You need to watch that. Nick West interviewed him.
Do I really?
Yeah, definitely.
Am I going to get angry? Because I know it looks like I'm in a hut, but my studio is really nice at the moment. I don't want to go smashing it.
I think the guy is very and I wish I could do it. When I used to do my 15-minute little videos of me just talking about the subject, I think they may come back. I don't know. Yeah, probably will at some point when I get the studio sorted like you've got there. But I never had any sort of script here. He's definitely got he's got a big plan here. He's got it all scripted out, and it's impressive that he does that. But it's kind of like, for me, somebody, especially when it comes to this subject, and you're telling people what to believe, what's going to happen, you're kind of like you're pushing them in a certain direction.
Anyone that talks about this subject as fact, this is a fact, instantly stop listening to them.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I definitely
I'm
believe
just
there's
saying,
something to this subject, otherwise I wouldn't have the channel. But
there is literally no facts to be had. There
you
is
can't.
conjecture and rumor.
Yeah.
It's like having facts about Greek gods. You know, it's this was Zeus. He lived on a cloud. You know, it's you can't do it.
It's like when people will say, "Oh, I've studied this for years. I'm a ufologist." What is that? You know, what is that? So you've looked at what for years? How do you know what you're looking at is factual?
It's a terrible abbreviation. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I've spoke to a few like ufologists through email. I even struggle to say it. That don't have like UFO channels or anything like that. They just study the subject, and they'll send me a pic and say, "Look at this. I've researched this for years," and they'll send me a picture of a little dot, and I'm like, okay, where do I go with that?
Yeah,
where do I go with that?
You know the pictures of the I can't remember whether it's the Greer thing or not, to be honest. I know they used one in the intro to X-Files, and it was like over Groom Lake, and they took pictures of something, and it ended up like the squiggly worm line.
Oh yeah.
Well, over my house, I took pictures of something like it looked like it was a ball in the sky, and when I took pictures of it, I got the squiggly worm line. And there's one picture in particular where you can see there's a squiggly worm line, but you can see at the end of it there's something there, looks like a glowing grain of rice, essentially. There's no point in me showing what,
like a Tic Tac,
a bit like Tic Tac. No, this is the glowing grain of rice.
That's going to be the next thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're pushing it, mate. You're pushing that glowing grain of rice.
Yeah, it'll be known as like the sugar puff, the sugar puff photos. But there's no point in me showing those pictures to people. I understand that I had a nice camera with a really pretty fast lens on it, and I took pictures of something that was clearly moving around really quickly, because in one frame it traveled all about the place. But I mean, what is it? It's it's just because there was a light in the sky that I followed home. I literally followed it home from the pub, and then it was there long enough for me to go in, get a camera, and come out. There was a mass sighting. I didn't see it, which is it's always really upset me, this, because where I live, if I was to open the curtains and look down, I live in Onken, which is above Douglas. Probably shouldn't give such direct coordinates away on the internet. It's probably a dangerous thing to do. I'm not going to tell you my house.
Sorry, you're in a bunker.
I am. I overlook Douglas Bay from my house. If I go up into my son's room, I can look over Douglas Bay. And there was a mass sighting in Douglas Bay of like a big light in the bay. My friends saw it. There's a pub down there called the Queen's, and all the people who stood outside the Queen's, like looking at this light, like in the middle of the bay, and then it just disappeared. But it's the.
You film it?
No. This was back 2000, something like that. It was before those. I think I was like 18 when it happened.
Nokia 3210.
Yeah. There was no 3210s kicking about. But it's what you do with it. Even if there had been a picture, it's another light. And this is just because you see a light somewhere that seems to float around like it's controlled, doesn't necessarily mean there's intelligent life in it. Like we could still be looking at like a really crazy version of ball lightning. Do you know what I mean? Like atmospheric phenomenon that we have no idea, like not just atmospheric, an interdimensional atmospheric thing. Do you know what I mean? Like ball lightning that pops in and out of dimensions and just floats around and can like pop into our like range of like vision as far as light goes, and then pop out of it straight away. So that it's there's no facts. That's what I mean. And I think like I say, anyone that's trying to tell you that they've worked this out, I'd be very cautious about, because we've been seeing these things for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, and we still haven't worked it out. So I don't. Why would we be? Well, why would we be so special now that just because we can film them and we don't have to put cave paintings on the wall, we've got a better way of creating public record. I don't see why all of a sudden we'd be able to figure this out.
I don't think we're ever going to figure it out. We need the people high up to say this is what it is, and then for us to believe them.
That's it. Yeah. And then you believe in then you believe in a narrative, aren't you? You believe in a story.
Yeah.
I mean, it could, like we said before about religion and gods.
What if it is God?
Yeah, or gods like I mentioned like Greek gods before, with there being so many of them. What if when they pop down, they're popping down from Mount Olympus to look and see how the entertainment's getting on?
And they're having a big laugh and saying, "Do you know what they believe? They believe that we're like flying vehicles." How ridiculous is that?
Yeah. It's everyone knows this is a cloud we're flying around. I
chucked my hammer the other day just for the laugh as the fighter jet went by, and it chased it. Then I brought it back.
Gods would explain a few things. It would explain the rock. Have you seen the size of that man now?
Maybe he is. Maybe he's a god.
He's going to be president, your next president. Heard of you first.
The Rock.
Yeah,
I'd vote for him.
Absolutely, I feel like prime for it.
I feel like I had to.
Yeah, in case you bumped into him, you had to explain why you didn't.
But so, I think I'm going to do a few like of these kind of shows leading up to June, whatever it is. I'll get the actual date for next time. I think it's June 6th. I think.
So let's face it. If this is disclosure, we only get one go.
But I want to do a show on this, Lee, because we are coming, and I want you on, with Goof
I want me on immediately. I want to do it right now.
We are going to talk about this because I've had a few debates with Rich over that.
Can we have stills if we can't play?
Yeah, no, I'll get loads of stills. I'll try and play the. I think I can. I might be able to get away with playing the footage. It's just whenever you play the footage on YouTube take the video down for.
Can we get the censored
mutilation?
One? If we get the censored one,
I might edit it and just censor the parts.
Yeah, just blur it. Just blur the minging bits, because for me, it's like the discoloration, all sorts. It looks real.
It'll make an interesting conversation. But yeah, I want to say thank you to yourself, Lee, because we've been going for an hour and 43 minutes. And
thank you for asking me again.
Mate, you're welcome on any time. Thank you for helping me out with the show. And everybody in the chat tonight, the super chatters, the people that are just chatting with each other and having a laugh, everybody that's being respectful, and I'm pretty sure you're all being respectful. Because they always are. They're a good bunch, these people. I just wish I could read better, just so I could see things and pop them straight. I need a Susie. That's what I need. I need a Susie. Maybe I should get my wife to be upstairs on the laptop and just have another microphone in this.
As a closing statement, Darren deserves a share there.
And the most of us, what? And the most of these so-called experts have never seen jack shit, but they are different. This is true. This is true. The so-called experts, I don't think, have seen shit. Is that the comment you meant, Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't. I don't think, because if they had, we'd see that they would release what they've seen. And what we see is just little bits, little clips. And I was on Dark Hour Paranormal the other night before we go. Make sure you check his channel out. And I just said to him, people take pictures of stills of UFOs. People take videos and they will film the footage for a few seconds. And then they all of a sudden, they'll just, do you like my new phone case, by the way? It's real wood. They'll just stop filming it. So they're seeing a UFO in the sky. This is really interesting. Oh, well, I'll send that now. And it's still there. They take the phone away from it. Do you know what my theory with that is?
What's that?
They take it away because they know if they stay there for too long, you'll work it out what it is.
I've got another theory of why this happens is because rendering special effects takes a fucking long time.
Well, that too, yeah.
You know,
but I get clips sent to me from people that are balloons. I've had hot air balloons sent to me before.
Whole hot air balloons in a pot.
a whole hot air balloon. And I'm not. I think it's the way I've been brought up. I try not to be too rude. I'm like, that's interesting. Did you film for a little bit longer? Because it kind of looks like a hot air balloon, but I'm sure I'm wrong.
I know digital zoom's not great, but we could have tried, couldn't we?
Well, this is it, and I also, people that are filming stuff. I mean, I did the same thing, and I didn't put it up on the channel. It's actually, and I will quote it right now. Yeah, it's on my Patreon page. So head over, guys, if you're interested to support the channel. But there is a little UFO clip on there of I was walking home from work, and it was pitch black because it's Britain, and at 5:30 on the winter's day, it's black, it's pitch black, and there's this kind of light that's just going across me. And I'm thinking, is that an aeroplane?
Yeah.
But it's not flashing anything. It's just a solid light, and I'm not filming it. I'm thinking, and it's coming closer and coming down, and still I don't think to film it until the last minute when I started seeing it go over trees, so I could see it going in between the branches. I thought, that's weird. And it started to turn. So I got my phone out, and literally there is a clip, and it must be about 16 seconds or something like that until it disappears completely. I only thought to film it the last minute. One, as I was walking, I think there was a few people behind me. I don't know if I'm sure there's people in the chat that have had this happen to them when they may have seen something and thought, I don't want to look like an idiot. Let's start going like that up at the sky. Because I do that all the time. I'll see something, I think, that's just an aeroplane. And then I'll look and it's gone. But this thing was weird. It took kind of a U-turn behind a tree and disappeared completely. It scooted down really low. And it wasn't like one of these Chinese lanterns or anything like that. It wasn't a drone because there was no kind of sound on it or anything like that. it was just completely. If it was a drone, I'd have heard it, the height it was, when I realized how low it was.
Yeah.
But it was just like kind of a last minute thing. And I just wished that if I'd have filmed that from the beginning, that would probably be a viral UFO clip.
Wow.
But that's why I only put it out. I put it out for the patrons to see.
Yeah.
Because I thought, you know what, I'll share this out because it actually did happen, and it was something that I
Chuck it
witnessed.
to me, let me have a look.
Yeah, I'll chuck it to you, mate. It's on my phone somewhere. But yes, mate. So we're gonna do a show on the alien autopsy.
I
which
just want to
has
quickly
been
ask someone
debunked.
something in the chat. Just
Go
want to
on.
quickly ask someone in the chat, because Candyman says he's got footage with his Nikon P1000. Now I
It's a good
know, well, it is. That's why all the flat earthers buy them for the distance. I'd be interested to see what he's had with that. If he's got a YouTube channel or something, if he wants to lash a comment down the bottom, I will go and find it.
Or if anybody's got any footage, send it over to alienaddict.com. I will share it with you as well, Lee. Something like that. But yeah, send it across. That is my email address. If it's good footage and it's filmed, it's not just something that is there that doesn't disappear. If it disappears and it moves weird, it makes my nipples stand on end.
The Candyman, send it to Ollie. Send your footage to Ollie on that email address.
Just say it's Candyman. Don't say it 3 times though, especially when you're looking at yourself.
If anyone
like
can,
I like
Candyman can.
Sweets for the Sweet. It's a good film, that. It's a good film. The first one, the other's garbage.
I've never seen any of them.
Oh, it's a good horror film. I think they're remaking it. But
yeah.
Thank you so much, folks. Good night. God bless. I'm Alien Addict. This is Lee from Musty Audio. Make sure you check the links out below.
Yeah, come and listen to my podcast. Come watch, follow the YouTube channel. Hopefully by the time next week sometime, there should be a hilarious video of me and my friends eating crickets and silkworms.
You're going to be eating crickets and silkworms?
Already done it. Already done it. That's why I need to edit. I am in.
And check out my merch, guys. And thank you for the people who have bought a few things. Send me some pictures of what you bought, because I want to put them up for you guys. But yes, we have the Alien Addict merch site. I have 3 designs so far. I'm going to work on some more. And you can get these on t-shirts, hoodies, bottles, whatever, you name it, you can get them on them. So head on over if you want to support the channel, or check out the Patreon page if you want to become part of the community. You're already part of the community, people in the chat anyway, and who are subscribed. But if you just want to support it further, it would be most welcome. So I'm going to drop you out, Lee, and I'm going to give these guys a kiss goodnight.
So there, guys.
Thank you, mate. Thank you again, guys. As always, it's been a pleasure doing this. I love doing this, and it's going to be an exciting year. So in the run-up to June, we'll probably get a few guests on, and we'll discuss this subject a little bit further. Maybe we'll get some people that you know, might actually know something, what's going to happen. If you're one of those people and you're watching this now, you know what my email is. It's alienaddict. I don't know what it is. UK@gmail.com. It's got UK in it because somebody stole Alien Addict. And if you're watching this and you've got that email, I will buy it off you. Good night. God bless, folks. Mind the bugs don't bite. How do I end the show?